A little nonsense now and then is relished by the wisest men. One of the most treasured creatives in the history of entertainment was a man born as Jerome Silberman in Milwaukee in 1933. Who is this spectacular person? You may know him better as Mr. Gene Wilder. This man never stopped learning and improving himself, constantly chasing his happiness, regardless of what many people told him was possible. His initial interest in acting and comedy blossomed when he was 8 years old. His mother, Jean, was diagnosed with rheumatic fever, and the doctors told him to try and make her laugh. This began the lifelong passion to entertain. By the time Gene was 11, he had made up his mind to become an entertainer. He watched his sister perform on stage and knew he wanted to do just that. He waited 2 years to join the acting school his sister attended. His mother felt that he had more potential than what was being recognized and sent him to a military school in Hollywood. According to Gene himself, he left that school because of severe harassment and bullying due to the fact that he was the only Jewish boy in attendance. As Gene grew up, he shared that he loved being Jewish. Even if he didn't believe in God, he was grateful for that part of his life. He returned home and became deeply involved with the local community theater. For the first time, at age 15, Gene performed on stage as Balthazar in Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. He graduated from high school in 1951. He later was accepted at the Bristol Old Vic Theatre School in Bristol, England. After his first 6 months of training, he became the first freshman to win the all-school fencing championship. Gene wanted to study a very specific form of acting called Stanislavski's system. He returned home to the United States, where he enrolled at the HB studio. However, Wilder was drafted in 1956. During his training in 1957, his mother passed away from ovarian cancer. In 1958, he was discharged from the Army. In 1961, Gene made his television debut in an episode of Play of the Week, and then in 1967, he was a hostage in the film Bonnie and Clyde. That was his first real role. It provided him the opportunity for his breakout role as Leopold Bloom in the film The Producers. This is the film project that tied Gene to the famous writer and director Mel Brooks. In 1971, Gene would become Willy Wonka in Mel Stewart's adaptation of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Even though it was not immediately a success, it would go on to become a fan favorite and a cult classic film.
Why, having fun?
Gene would go on to become a film writer. He would come up with the idea of Young Frankenstein.
That's Frankenstein.
Which became a massive success. In 1991, Gene had his last role in a feature film. He wanted to move on to other entertainment ventures, such as writing and even painting. He of course made appearances in different movies and TV shows. In April of 1991, he was inducted into the Wisconsin Performing Arts Hall of Fame. He also became an advocate and promoter of awareness for ovarian cancer, as he lost his mother to the disease, as well as his wife, Gilda Radner. Along with his charitable efforts, he spent most of his time in retirement writing novels and painting watercolor paintings. In 1999, Gene Wilder was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin lymphoma and went into remission in 2005. On March 1, 2005, Gene released an extremely personal book titled Kiss Me Like a Stranger: My Search for Love in Art. This memoir details Gene's life from childhood until Gilda's death. This began Gene's journey into writing novels. In 2008, in an interview with Alec Baldwin, Gene announced officially that he was forever retired from acting. On August 29, 2016, in Stamford, Connecticut, while Ella Fitzgerald's Over the Rainbow played, Gene Wilder passed away from complications of Alzheimer's disease. While it was a shock to fans across the world, Gene's family and friends knew this was his fate. He wanted to keep his condition private and out of the media. His nephew Jordan explained that this secret diagnosis was to prevent saddening the fans of Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, stating, quote, "The decision to wait until this time to disclose his condition wasn't vanity, but more so that the countless young children that would smile or call out to him, 'There's Willy Wonka,' would not have to be then exposed to an adult referencing illness or trouble and causing delight to travel to worry, disappointment, or confusion. He simply couldn't bear the idea of one less smile in the world." End quote. The people that Gene had become closest with expressed their deep sadness, some on social media, some on their own shows and on news broadcasts, and others expressed their sadness even still in memorializing his memory. Mel Brooks spoke about his grief on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Everyone can agree that Gene was such a magical person. He had a way to make everyone smile without knowing what he did to make them smile. This is what makes him such a uniquely special and inspirational person. In multiple interviews with him, he always said he wasn't funny, he wasn't special, he was an actor, and he simply was good at his job. But anyone who has ever met him and worked with him would disagree. Even now, watching his films and seeing him on screen, he lights up the frame. He had a magnetism that inspired many people. His performance and the way that he could improvise and know exactly what his character would do or say without needing it to be scripted. He was an acting genius and continues to set the bar for future generations of screen actors. Immortalized in film and memory, Gene Wilder was one of a kind and is still missed today. Happy birthday, Gene.
But Charlie, don't forget what happened to the man who suddenly got everything he always wanted.
What happened?
He lived happily ever after.